Okay, fantastic. Thank you all so much for attending this webinar that the Texas Technology X program has partnered with TexAble on for to get people more information on ABLE accounts here in the state of Texas. I'll give a quick brief bio about myself and the TTAP program. So I am Cole Glosser, and I am the Alternative Financing Program Coordinator at the Texas Technology Access Program, which is housed at the University of Texas at Austin. And it is the State Assistive Technology Program, and we are a statewide resource, and we have several different services, including device demonstration for assistive technology, both in-house as well as virtual. We also have a little over 20 demonstration centers spread out across the state of Texas for folks to test out AT in their local areas. Additionally, we have a durable medical equipment reuse program down in San Antonio for folks who either need to donate or would like to acquire refurbished DME at a lower cost. And then additionally, we have financing services and help folks try to find different financial resources that are pertinent to people with disabilities. And so that's why I say we're starting this webinar series on different financial resources, specifically this one on ABLE accounts. So we're very excited to be able to present on this, and I will turn it on over to Vanessa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cole. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all on today's webinar about the Texas Achieving a Better Life Experience Texas ABLE program. My name is Vanessa Goodson, and I work for the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts, specifically for the Texas ABLE program. So I travel across the state of Texas, and I work on a unified front with my coworker and educate and inform folks about Texas ABLE. So prior to COVID, our primary job is to travel and spread the word about Texas ABLE to different associations, partners, and families. So we're excited to have this opportunity to present to you today on a virtual level. So I'm going to do the presentation first, and then we'll have an opportunity for some question and answers. So feel free to drop any of those question and answers in the chat box, and we'll follow up with those at the end of the presentation. We do have a few housekeeping items before we begin. The audio for today's meeting can be accessed using your computer audio or by calling in by phone. If you select computer audio, please make sure your speakers are turned on and your headphones are plugged in. If you do not have sound capabilities on your computer or just prefer, you can listen by phone. If you experience any technical difficulties during this webinar, please use the chat box to send a message to the host, or you may email us at texasable@cpa.texas.gov. So I went ahead and put that in the chat box. Again, I'm going to present for the first 30 to 40 minutes, and then again, we'll have some time to answer those questions at the end. So please, again, drop those in the chat box. Let's go ahead and share our slides here. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to be covering today is the history of ABLE. We're going to cover the ABLE program basics, Texas ABLE program highlights, including how to enroll, investment options, contributions, withdrawals, and fees. And then we'll have time for an ABLE legislative update. So before I begin, this presentation provides highlights of the Texas ABLE program. Our office cannot provide legal, tax, financial, benefit, or investment advice, or advice regarding penalty avoidance under applicable tax law. Contact your attorney, financial advisor, or other tax expert regarding your specific legal, tax, financial, benefit, or investment situation. You can refer to our program disclosure statement and participation agreement for detailed information about the program. So the history of ABLE. ABLE was created because Stephen Beck, who is here in this picture, was looking for a way to save for his child with disabilities and not affect public benefits. So he gathered parents and lobbied for this to pass for about 10 full years. It was actually finally passed in 2014 by Congress, and it was called the Stephen Beck Jr. Achieving a Better Life Experience ABLE Act. So it created Section 529A, A stands for ABLE, in the Internal Revenue Code, and authorized each state to establish an ABLE program. The Act created a new savings option for individuals with disabilities to save money in a tax advantage account. So we'll cover the tax advantage portion to be used for qualified disability expenses, and we'll cover what those could be, and to keep eligibility for public benefits. So ABLE is truly a game changer for individuals with disabilities. So you can see here in this chart, before ABLE, individuals with disabilities who had 2,000 or more in resources would lose eligibility for critical means tested government benefits. So with an ABLE account, participants can save up to $100,000 in an ABLE account in addition to that $2,000 prior resource limit. So that gives you up to $102,000 of savings without impacting benefit eligibility. So you can see why this truly is a game changer. So at a glance, ABLE nationwide, and this is of December of last year, we had 46 states and the District of Columbia that had opened ABLE programs. That's 137,145 ABLE accounts that have been established. That is $1.253 billion invested into these programs. So you can see here in the chart, the ABLE programs that are open are the ones that are highlighted green, and the ones that are in gray are the ones that haven't opened an ABLE program. So all of the ABLE programs amongst the different states are very similar in nature. The nuts and bolts are the same and the federal guidelines are the same. It's just sometimes their investment options are different. Some of their advantages, sometimes they have tax deduction if their state charges taxes. So there's just different benefits for each state. So what is an ABLE account? It is a tax advantage investment account for eligible individuals with disabilities. The tax advantage part is where you don't pay taxes on any earnings that you may see in the investment options. So it is a post-tax investment. And then you won't pay taxes as long as you're using it for qualified disability expenses. Account funds are intended to supplement, not supplant, benefits provided through Medicaid, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, and Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI. Now, it's actually the beneficiary's name. It's in the beneficiary's name, so they own the account. So it's not in the parent or legal guardian's name. It's in that beneficiary's name. And they can only have one ABLE account per beneficiary. So you can't have one in another state and have one in Texas. But you can transfer it. So if you do move, you can transfer that and there is no fees. You can transfer that over. So this is a 529 plan, similar to the 529 called savings account. This is just for individuals with disabilities. So the benefits of an ABLE account is that you can save for qualified disability expenses and keep eligibility or future eligibility for state and federal means tested benefits, including SSI and Medicaid. You can withdraw funds tax-free for qualified disability expenses, which is that tax advantage portion I mentioned. Anyone can contribute to the ABLE account, including friends, family, or even a special needs trust. So to be eligible, number one, you have to be a Texas resident, and you have to have developed the disability by the age of 26. You can be younger or older when you actually apply for the account, but you have to have developed that disability by the age of 26. And then you must meet one of the three following criteria. Number one, you have to be eligible to receive SSI or SSDI, or have a condition listed on the Social Security Administration's list of compassionate allowances conditions. So that can be found on the Social Security Administration's website. That is more of the rare disabilities. Or you can obtain a physician's diagnosis of a medically determinable physical or mental impairment. Please note that disability must be marked in severe limitation, which can either be expected to result in death or expected to last at least 12 months. So those are the requirements. So who can open an ABLE account? It can be the eligible individual with the disability if they're at least 18 years of age and they can manage their own account. they can open it and they can manage it. If they're not 18 or maybe they can't manage their own account, you can have an authorized legal representative, what we call an ALR, and that could be in the following hierarchy. It could be the agent acting under a power of attorney, legal guardian or other conservator, spouse, parent, brother or sister, grandparent, or a representative payee appointed by the Social Security Administration. So contribution limits. So as of 2023, you can now save up to $17,000 per year from any source. So that's huge savings compared to the previous $2,000 that you're able to save. If you have an individual that's employed, they can actually save up to $30,590. So that's the $17,000 that I mentioned, plus another additional $13,590 of wages. And that would be if the individual is not contributing to a retirement plan. And then the max amount that you're able to save in the ABLE account is actually $500,000. It would be $100,000 if the individual is receiving SSI. So $17,000 a year, up to $100,000 if they're receiving SSI, and $500,000 if SSI is not a consideration. So ABLE accounts and Social Security Administration or Social Security eligibility. So account balances over that $100,000 mark do count as a resource for SSI determination purposes. So for account balances over that $100,000 mark, any SSI monthly benefits are suspended, not terminated. So that's very important to note. You can send yourself a reminder if you think that may become an issue. You can send a reminder that you know that you have to spend down that money before it hits that mark. So once that account drops back down to the $100,000, then those benefits will be reactivated. And I couldn't tell you how long that would be, but it's very important to note that threshold if you're receiving SSI benefits. Medicaid benefits are maintained regardless of account balance. And the impact on accountable income means that an individual's own wages count as an income for SSI determination purposes, even if they contribute that income to their ABLE account. So essentially, you can't work more to put more money into the ABLE account. So those wages that you're allowed to make are still apply. You're just now allowed to save more. So the money in the ABLE account can be used for qualified disability expenses. And the way that the law is written, it's very broad, but it's written and it says that the qualified disability expenses are those that relate to the individual's disability and are for the benefit of maintaining or improving his or her health, independence, or quality of life. So essentially, if you can tie it back to those things, it could be a disability expense. Texas ABLE doesn't require receipts for those expenses. It is up to you to maintain that documentation for those federal agencies. So it does include basic living expenses and is not limited to expenses for which there's a medical necessity. So here are some great examples of qualified disability expenses. It's not limited to these things, but these are examples. You can use it for education, housing, transportation, employment training and support, assistive technology and personal support services, health, prevention and wellness, financial management and administration services, legal fees, oversight and monitoring, funeral and burial. Again, it's not limited to these things, but these are examples of what you could use the money for. Some people have used it for ride shares. They've used it for different types of schools, day camps. Really, it's really up to that individual because it is every individual's disability is different. So what they may need to pay for could be a different expense. So withdrawals for housing expenses. Distributions for housing expenses are disregarded for means tested benefits only if that withdrawal from the ABLE account and the payment of that expense occur in the same month. So essentially, if you're going to be paying for November's rent, you'll want to pull it out and pay it within November. You can't hold it for longer than that month, or it becomes a accounted expense. So qualified disability expenses for housing include mortgage payments, including property insurance required by the mortgage holder, real property taxes, rent, heating, fuel, gas, electricity, water, sewer, garbage removal. So those are just examples. So there is a Medicaid payback provision, and what that means is in the event that the beneficiary passes away, the Federal ABLE Act allows states to recapture medical assistance paid by the state Medicaid program on behalf of the beneficiary during the period of time that the ABLE account was open. So essentially, if you open the account today, it would be from today to the date that the beneficiary passes away. Any monies paid to that individual can be accessed. However, you can deduct any Medicaid buy-in premiums that were paid. You can pay for any outstanding bills for any of those qualified disability expenses that we mentioned. And then you can pay for funeral and burial expenses. And essentially, if the account is paid down, then Medicaid can come and access the rest that had been paid to that beneficiary. So if that individual did not receive Medicaid, then this does not apply, and Medicaid cannot access the account. So Texas ABLE program highlights. So it's created by Texas legislator. It's built by Texans, made for Texans. It's administered by the Texas Prepaid Higher Education Tuition Board through the Comptroller's Office. We actually launched in May of 2018. We have a Texas residency requirement, so you do have to live in Texas, but you can transfer it if you happen to move. Again, there's no fees to do that. We do have a self-attestation online enrollment process, which means is when you're signing up for the ABLE account, you are self-attesting that you do have the authority to open the account for that individual, or you do have that disability, and you're certifying that you do meet those requirements. We have an established Texas ABLE Advisory Committee as well. So Texas ABLE enrollment process. So how to enroll, you go to texasable.org. We have a simple, intuitive platform, no enrollment fee. We do ask that you have $50 minimum to establish the account. And if you're going to make any subsequent contributions, those need to be at least $25 minimums. We have an online account maintenance, so there is no brick and mortar location. Everything can be done online. You can't go to a Chase, Wells Fargo, or any other type of bank to set up this. The only place to do it is online at texasable.org. So you can do your contributions online, you can do your withdrawals, you can change things in the account, you can change your investment options. All of that can be done online. The next step is you'll choose your investment options during enrollment. So we have 5 investment options, including the FDIC insured bank savings option. You can choose one or a combination of the 5 options. You can even change the investment options up to twice per calendar year, as allowed by the Federal ABLE Act. Fees vary based on investment options selected. Detailed information on the investment options is available in the program disclosure statement and participation agreement. So here is a snapshot of our 5 investment options. All this information can be found online at texasable.org, and you can see how each one is performing to make your decision from there. But we do have 4 managed allocation options that range from aggressive to conservative. We do have funds in Vanguard Total Stock, Vanguard Total International, PIMCO Total Return, and Eaton Vance Floating. And then, of course, we have that bank savings option. So again, you can choose one or a combination of the 5. So here's a snapshot of what it would look like if you're signing up for a Texas ABLE account. You would need to designate each block of the percentage that you would like, and it must total up to 100%. So this would look very similar to a 401k. So you would put the amounts that you want in there, and then again, it must total the 100%. Next, we're going to go to contributions. So to make contributions to the ABLE account, there are many great ways you can do it. You can do a personal or cashier's check, a payroll deduction, electronic funds transfer or EFT, an automatic investment plan or AIP. You can roll over from a 529 college savings account, which means is if you had a parent or guardian, grandparent that set up a 529 college savings account for that child and then the disability developed, you can actually just transfer it over with one form, and there's no fees to do that, and you can use it for its maximum potential, including schools, but also those disability expenses. So it's a 529 plan, so it's almost the same type of plan. You can roll over from an ABLE program. So that would be if you're transferring to different states. So if you already have an ABLE account in a different state, you can transfer it over again. No fees to do that. You can do contributions from a special needs trust. So they work really great in conjunction with each other because the benefits of the tax advantage and just being able to pay for different things that some special needs trust can't. And then the flexibility. Sometimes it's nice to have both accounts. We have an online e-gift tool. So we have an online e-gift tool, and it's an easy way for others to contribute. Anyone can contribute to the account safely and securely, the family, friends, or even special needs trusts. So the account owners can create a e-gift event for their account and send it to friends or family via email. That email contains a link and a personalized message with instructions of how to contribute directly to the account. So please keep in mind that contributions are subject to annual contribution limits and account balance limits. So it's very important to note the thresholds of the $17,000 per year, max $30,590 for individuals that are working, and it needs to be at least $25 minimum contribution if you're going to make contributions. There is no requirement per month. I like to mention this, that there's no requirement per month that you have to put into the account. So you can establish the account with that $50, and then after that, it's really up to you how you decide you want to invest into the program. And there's also no hold. So as soon as the money hits the account, you are able to withdraw. So withdrawals from the ABLE account can be done online at texasable.org, or you can do a withdrawal by check. Please keep in mind that withdrawals by check do take a little bit longer, and there is a fee associated with it of $5 per withdrawal. So it is a more time-consuming, definitely not the most cost-effective version, but you can withdraw that way. If you like a different option, you can withdraw by ACH, so you can transfer money to your personal bank electronically. You can even withdraw by ACH to a prepaid debit card, which we do have one. So there are some important withdrawal considerations. So please keep in mind that non-qualified withdrawals are going to be taxed. So there will be income tax on those earnings and an additional 10% as well. So it's very, very important to make sure you're maintaining necessary records. So it's the beneficiary or authorized legal representative's responsibility for determining if a withdrawal is qualified or non-qualified, and for federal, state, and benefit tax consequences. So make sure you're maintaining those necessary records for the IRS, Social Security Administration, or other government entities. So an example, a lot of people ask me what an example of a non-qualified withdrawal would be. And the best example that I could give you would be if you have a beneficiary that set up the account and they would like to pay for their friend Susie's lunch. That's not for the benefit of their health, independence, or quality of life. So that's an automatic non-qualified withdrawal. Again, we don't identify those, but that is an easy one for me to help you figure out. So again, we don't ask for those receipts, but you will want to make sure you're maintaining those receipts. So we do have the prepaid debit card. It's the US Bank Focus card. It is free to use. There's no enrollment fee. Simple and fast way for Texas Able account owners to access funds to pay for qualified disability expenses on the go or online. So what it is, it's a reloadable prepaid debit card funded by ACH withdrawals from your Texas Able account. ACH withdrawals fees apply. Can be used online or in stores anywhere that accept Visa debit cards. You can even view your balance and transaction history via the US Bank mobile app or online. So it's just a great way to keep your funds separate from your personal accounts. And it's once the money's on there, there are no additional fees. You can use it as you see fit. Please keep in mind those housing related expenses will need to be paid in that same month. But other than that, you can use it and there's no additional fees per swipe. So again, no fee to have it. It is optional, but it is a great option. So Texas Able account fees. So we have a monthly account maintenance fee of $3.50 per month. Now that's actually gone down, which is interesting because in the investment/financial world, nothing is going down at this moment. So for our fees to go down, that is amazing. So it's $3.50 per month. And what it gives you those 5 investment options that we mentioned. And it gives you the opportunity to withdraw twice per month and not incur any additional fees. So yes, I said twice per month. Now you can pull out as much as you have within the account within those 2 withdrawals and not incur additional fees. So what a lot of people do is they move the money that they need for the month, they budget, and they move it within that first withdrawal to the prepaid debit card, and then they can use that prepaid debit card as much as they would like. But there also is an additional withdrawal if you need it. Now you can access the account past the 2 times per month, and you just incur $1 fee per withdrawal. So please keep that in mind. So delivery of program documents, we don't charge you for electronic delivery, but there is a $10 annual fee for paper delivery. So keep that in mind. Again, check processing fee of $5 per withdrawal by check. There are no fees for enrollment, rollovers from another ABLE program, or 529 savings account, or change in beneficiary or authorized legal representative. And all of these fees can be found online. Now we have time for our ABLE legislative update. It's going to be exciting. So ABLE Age Adjustment Act. So currently, only individuals who have a qualifying disability prior to the age of 26 are eligible to open an ABLE account. Now, with passage of the ABLE Age Adjustment Act in December of 2022, expands ABLE eligibility to individuals whose disability occurred before the age of 46. So that change goes into effect January 1st, 2026. So they actually took them an additional 10 years to get this passed. So it's definitely been in the works for a while. But it does give an estimated 6 million more Americans with disabilities, including an estimated 1 million veterans, first responders, and later in life disabilities that now have the ability to save with the future with ABLE. So that's a very exciting news. So keep in mind January 1st, 2026. So if you don't meet the eligibility requirement now, you could in the future, and you can start your account January 1st, 2026. So to connect with Texas ABLE, we have a customer service team that is bilingual, and we have our phone number listed there. It's also on our website. It's 844-4TX-ABLE. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Central Standard Time, or you can email them at customerservice@texasable.org. Now, if you'd like outreach opportunities, including presentations, webinars, or program collateral, you can call or email us at texasable@cpa.texasspelledout.gov. I'll put this back up. I'm going to go to the next slide real quick. So here's our wonderful disclosure. We do have to put that up for shortly, but it is found on our website. So here is our contact information. Now I want to thank everyone for coming today. Let's go ahead and get to the question and answers. And then if Cole wants to share anything, he's welcome to as well. I'm going to look at the questions right now. Let's see. All right. Let's see. So we have one question. Which level of disability is accepted? For example, if someone who is missing a finger qualifies. Okay, so number one, if they had the disability by the age of 26, they qualify. But they have to be eligible or receive SSI or SSDI or have that condition of listed on the Social Security Administration's list. So that could be the rare disability. So that probably wouldn't work for a finger. Third one would be if you can get a physician's diagnosis that states that that disability is in severe nature, expected to last at 12 months. So that would be a physician's determination whether they think that it's a severe disability or not. So it's hard to say. You just have to get that from your physician. Okay. So next is if a person gets $1,700 per month from SSDI, but also has a Medicaid waiver. I understand that it can go directly to the ABLE account, but after 10 months, we'll see the $17,000 limit. What do we do for the other for 2 months? So I mean, it depends how much you're spending. So if I don't know if you're saving that amount but the annual limit is 17,000. And I've heard, don't quote me on this, I've heard that possible passage that it could go up to 18,000 in 2024. I haven't seen any confirmed from the IRS, but it could go up to 18,000. So maybe that would help with the amount that you need to save there. But after that, you would have to come up with other means that may be spending it. But again, I can't provide benefit advice. So got all of our questions. Feel free to drop some more if you have them. Let me check the question and answers. Maybe there's some in there. Nope. Okay. So I did answer all the questions. Again, if you have more, feel free to drop in the chat box. Is there anything you wanted to add, Cole, or I think that's all we have for today.
I don't think I have anything other specifically. I do think that I think a really great aspect of able accounts is not only from the assistive technology perspective, but I think with housing, compared to just traditional SSI or using special needs trusts, is that it can help to supplement housing costs compared to other savings vehicles. So I think that's a really great opportunity for able accounts for folks with disabilities to be able to I guess increase opportunities for better housing and more accessible housing for themselves.
Yep, definitely.
We have another question. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, just
Let's see.
not a question, but more of a comment in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. And
Awesome.
then you guys are always welcome to email me here if you have questions after today, or if you have Cole's information, you can send it to him and he can forward it over, whichever works. Or we have our contact information on our website. So there it is, just in case.
Yes. Yeah. And then we're also planning on having this presentation, the recording of the presentation, on our Text Technology Access Program YouTube channel. So if people need to go back and find any information outside of what's currently on the Text Able website, we'll have that up in the next few weeks. But yes, thank you so much again, Vanessa. And if nobody else has any other questions in the chat, I think we are all good to finish.
Okay, sounds great.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all so much. Thank you.